a new carrier, a new client that's considering factoring, because you hear good and bad about everything out there, and a lot of people, when they're uneducated, they have negative opinions about things. What would you say to what would you say to the carrier right now that's listening to this, that's been considering it, but he's not sure? Um, what kind of a risk does he have when he comes to you? Go ahead and explain that.
Well, when they come to us, I don't see any risk. But to be honest with you, the largest or the main risks of finding a good factoring company are looking at long-term contracts, because sometimes the factoring industry or factoring companies, once they have a client, they want to sign them on a complicated on a contract that is hard to terminate, change. That's, for me, that's the most important thing, that the contract is not long term, so that if you're not happy because you don't agree with one thing or another, you can change companies. But me as an entrepreneur, I don't think that there's a more powerful financing tool than factoring, because it grows with your growth. And yeah, if you have a good relationship with your factor, you can grow exponentially, where with a bank it's much harder to achieve.
That's why I asked that question. I couldn't see any risk there. I mean, if I come to you, you're going to make sure I get paid. You're going to pay me up front. In fact, the risk is more on your side. You're the one taking the chance that maybe a broker goes out of business and you've already paid me, and you lost. I'm not locked in. I'm not locked in for the next 6 months where I have to send you. In fact, I would ask you this also is, let's say I have three customers that I deal with, and one I've been with a long time and I know they pay me on time. I don't have to give you those invoices, do I?
You don't.
We've got Summar Financial on TalkCDL Trucking Podcast this week, and we are hanging out with the guys. Alvaro, is that how you said it? Alvaro?
Yeah, that's fine.
How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Why don't you start off telling us your story? Like you said, you're the founder. Tell us, where you got the idea and how you found it and all that good stuff.
When I started Summar, that was in 2004. And we first started giving the service to exporters strictly from Colombia to the US. So we were helping all the flower business, coffee growers, textiles, and it went pretty good. And then I started thinking which was like the largest factoring industry in the US, and it turns out to be freight, over the road transportation. These truckers, they're all entrepreneurs. They're all looking for quick funding, or being able to turn their receivables into cash immediately. So we launched that division, and today the company has two separate divisions. One that continues servicing exporters, not only in Colombia, but in all Latin America. We have clients in Peru, in Ecuador, Colombia, and all Central America, Mexico, that export into the US. And then we have another division, which is separate, but it's also fascinating, which is the freight industry. The freight industry is clients, truckers that are entrepreneurs, moving goods all day long, and they really need their cash flow immediately, same day. And they need a good partner for them to grow and to be able to focus on the really, really hard work, which is driving, being over the road all the time. So yeah, that's the story of Summar. We've been at it for 21 years now.
Let's talk about the word factoring for a second. Because there's a lot of smaller trucking companies, fleet owners that are just started their business out there and may not have heard what factoring is. And so correct me if I'm wrong. Factoring really is basically, if I'm a trucking company, say I've got 5 trucks, and I've hauled freight for brokers or for customers, and they're just not paying on time. And like you had said, when you had moved here, had some late invoices, and without that cash coming in from people that we actually did the work for, it's hard to operate. So then enter your company, Summar Financial. I now could just say, hey, here's my invoices, and then you take it from there, and I get paid same day, correct?
So basically, the freight industry is very, I mean, it depends in the cash flow. I mean, it depends a lot in the cash flow. So basically, you have a truck, but you have to fuel it, you have to pay insurance, you have to pay repairs, and and you have a small margin. So basically, for a company to be able to survive and be able to make make the business meet ends I mean your needs, you have to have the cash immediately. You cannot be hauling every day or every other day and then waiting 30 or 60 days to get paid. So for the freight industry and for the small truckers, I mean it's something that is really, really useful, being able to haul the load, send the paperwork in, and get paid immediately. And not only get paid immediately, but we do the invoices for the clients, we do the collections, and most important is that when they're going to load, when they're going to haul the load, they can check if the broker is creditworthy or not through our system. So they're not going into a load that is not going to pay them. Basically, they check if the load is offered by a good broker. We approve those brokers instantly through our website, and they know that we're going to buy that load from them as soon as they deliver. So it's something that works really well, and it allows the driver, which we believe drivers are entrepreneurs. I mean, they all have their own company. They all have their I mean, they all want to grow. They want to continue to grow in number of trucks, and we really help those entrepreneurs fulfill their dreams by helping them to grow.
I got a question for you. So let's say I'll just use me as an example. Troy's Transportation. I'm not getting paid. I send you my receivables or invoices, whatever you want to call them. And I send you them today. I'm going to have money in my bank today, okay, from your company. Let's say down the road, you never get paid by the customer. You paid me. Let's say ABC broker owes me the money. I gave you the invoices. You paid me. And let's say a few months go by and you never got money from ABC. Do I now owe that to you?
That's like really critical, because it's amazing. When we started this business, I mean, back in 2010, the freight business, we always sold it or gave the service. It's called non-recourse. So basically, and that's when I mentioned that when you're our client, we give you access to checking the credit of whom you're going to move the goods for, who you're going to load with. Once we approve that credit, we buy your receivable, we buy your invoice, we fund it, and we will never ask you for the money back again. And it's true non-recourse. That's the way that we've always worked. So a couple of years ago, there were other factoring companies that started using the brand true non-recourse, because in the industry, they used to be, no, we're non-recourse for 90 days. So basically, if I don't get paid within 90 days, then you have to pay me back. But for us, we always purchase an invoice. If we didn't collect, we don't charge the invoice back. So we're real non-recourse. But since we were born like that. So we've never actually differentiated what real non-recourse is or non. We buy it out, and we don't look for you to pay us back if we don't get paid. Unless, of course, which is important, unless there was a claim with the load. You deliver the load and it wasn't at the right temperature or something, and we didn't know about it, and then we're not going to pay paid for that. That's different.
Go ahead, Ruthann.
If it's something that's the actual driver's fault, it was their fault that it wasn't delivered on time. So
exactly. If they didn't deliver on time, or if the load was short, or whatever happens that is different, then us covering the credit risk, which is what we're doing. We're giving a coverage on the credit risk. We approve the credit, we'll deal with it. And actually, today we every month we send emails to our clients, and we tell them, look, we didn't get paid on this load, on this other load, just for you to know that we're really not charging it back. And it's a tough. I mean, it's been tough in the last couple of years, because as you know, the market has been losing a lot of players. A lot of companies have been going out of business, and we've lost invoices that we haven't been able to collect.
So it's a done deal then, basically. If you approve the check or the invoice, and so just so any of these new owner operators or small companies out there that have never done factoring before, what the process? It sounds to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, Avero. The process sounds like, okay, they wouldn't be sending you the invoice if you hadn't already approved them to go ahead and deal with that broker. So if they hauled the load and they send you the invoice, you're already going to know if the load was delivered on time, if there was any kind of negligence, like you said, if it was a reefer load, they didn't have the reefer running and a load got ruined, any of that stuff, you're already going to know that up front. So if they have a legitimate invoice that's just not getting paid, they can send that to you and you're going to pay them. And if you don't get paid, non-recourse means the deal's already done. You've already signed a deal with the customer and they got paid. If you don't get your money, happy is the customer because he does not owe it to anybody. That deal's already over for him.
So yeah, that's basically it. There's one, I mean, like the chronological order of the way it works is that when we get a client, I mean, of course, we sign them up in our contract. Everything is online, and then once they're going to load, they immediately check the credit of the broker. They go online, they put the MC number of the broker. It gives them a green or red light, basically telling them, yeah, it's green light, we're going to buy it. Go ahead and move the load. They know that once they move it, they're going to send us the bill of lading confirming the delivery, and they're going to have their money the same day. That's it. They did what they had to do. We did what we said that we were going to do, and everybody's happy.
Is there a monetary limit? Like, let's say if somebody signs up and you look at the invoices and you say, we approve those brokers, and let's say there's $100,000 worth of bills that need to be paid. Do you have a cap on how high they can invoice you for?
We don't have a limit. We basically the carrier can load us as much as he wants because we base, and that's another really cool thing. Carriers usually they're when the market is hot, there's a lot of new carriers, and a new carrier doesn't have a credit history. So there's no, I mean, they're not financially creditworthy as a bank would consider them. For us, it doesn't matter. We don't check the credit of our client. We base our credit decisions on the capacity of their brokers to pay. So we base we base the amount of money that we are going to give to you on who you're hauling for.
Question. New clients for you. Let's say I just came to you now and I have a bunch of unpaid invoices from brokers. Because these are not ones that you had already approved, are you willing to look at those and see if it is brokers that you do trust and then say, yep, we'll pay you, versus no, because you haven't really been approved by us?
We do that actually all the time. We're growing our database of new brokers every single day. Of course, the industry is huge, although we work with over 5,000 brokers. I mean, there's many more that we might not know. And when a carrier requests a broker, we will do analysis. Again, we will look at databases of our friendly competitors, let's say. And we will also look at Dun & Bradstreet. We will look at various companies that report credit on other companies. And if we see that there's a possibility of approving the broker, we will for sure. Because we want to, of course, it makes business for us, and we want to support that carrier, which is our client, to be able to load that load. I mean, to move that load. Maybe they're in a place that there's not too many loads, and they found it with this broker, and we know that it's a priority for them to move to another place. And we're always thinking on that. I mean, we're always putting ourselves on the position of our client, and do whatever we can to help
And
them.
you, in fact, I would ask you this also is, let's say I have 3 customers that I deal with, and one I've been with a long time and I know they pay me on time. I don't have to give you those invoices, do I?
Correct. You don't.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's why I asked that. I just didn't think that there was a risk factor. Let me ask you this. What sets you guys apart? What sets Summar Financial apart from everybody?
The main differentiator is number one, the non-recourse, and number two is that we're always answering the phone. I mean, it's like a culture of answering the phone, and it makes such a big difference. You call the company, and you will get somebody on the phone for sure, and you will be able to get to the bottom of what you need help with. And yeah, that's really, really different. And the third thing, which is critical, is getting funded the same day you send the invoice. Sometimes there's other factoring companies that we've heard, you submit your invoices, you don't get funded, you don't get a phone call answered. And then you're like, okay, I mean, I'm counting on this money today. That's why I have a factoring company. What's going on? And then you're gonna try to get out of the contract and you can't. So that's like a not a convenient place to be.
I see that you also offer other services with not just the factoring, but you also have fuel card. You also offer insurance. So there's other things that you offer as a company, not just helping with the invoices, but there are other when you join in, you get many more benefits, not just that.
Yeah, great question. Well, we started offering fuel cards because a couple of years ago, I mean, there's been a lot of volatility in fuel prices, and I mean, they've been mostly going up for the past 3 years. So we started seeing that there's a possibility of having a much better discounts if you group certain gallons that you're going to purchase a month. So we started precisely we found a partner that which we could have a fuel card where they accepted to group our carriers and get a large discount that we can share with our carriers, and that's been super successful. And we started offering credit lines also for the fuel, which we offer to our factoring clients, and that's worked really well. People really use the fuel credit lines, so it's of great help. And then we also have partners in the or strategic partnerships with insurance companies where we refer them clients, and we know that they're going to be looking for the best rates in insurance. And we have the same thing with parking spaces. Sometimes it's tricky to find an overnight parking, so we can refer our clients to overnight parking, and yeah, things like that. And for example, spare parts. We also have partnerships with companies that offer spare parts, so we also direct our clients to better prices by using the vendors that we're associated with.
That would actually come in handy a lot of times, when you're driving and you need something out of the blue, you realize, oh my gosh, this just broke down. And if you're a handy type of driver, it's easy to grab that, fix it yourself than having to take it into a maintenance shop. I know a lot of drivers, that's what their goal is, to not have to spend all as much money taking it to certain maintenance shops because of how much it could cost them.
I mean, the real difference, to be honest with you, that we've seen the past couple of years is on the fuel discounts, because having a good fuel card that has the most complete network where you can really find a good truck stop to fuel on your way is critical. And I think that we have a great fuel partner.
I was just actually thinking about that when Ruth Ann brought that up, that you have a fuel card with the discounts, because I know a lot of drivers that have moved to, owners that have gone to different companies and they lease on to them, and they're told they're getting fuel discounts, but they really don't see it. This actually, like you said, you have a network where, let's say, just for example, let's say you're in Toledo, Ohio. You go on the network, it's going to tell you where the cheapest fuel is, where you're getting your discounts, and you're going to see that. And all because I caught on what you said. You're in a pool. It's not just, if I came to you, it's not just me getting the discount. There's a large network of drivers all connected to this fuel card. And that's why the big trucking companies get the discounts, because they have multiple trucks
Exactly.
fueling up every day. And so does Summar Financial now.
Exactly. So basically what we're doing is that we're giving a one trucker or a two trucker fuel discounts that he would get if he had 50, 60 trucks. The price at which the one or two trucker is being able to fuel that is the price at which a 50 trucking company would be able to fuel that, basically. 50, 60, 100. It's really cool.
Wow. It's
That's
awesome.
good. That's really good.
So we've got factoring, okay, which means anybody that's wanting to get paid every day on time, get signed up here, because you now don't have to worry about a 30, 60-day invoice. You can get paid right away by Summar. You're not locked in forever. If you don't for some reason like Summar, they said you can go your happy way, which I'm guessing not many people leave. And then you've got the non-recourse. Non-recourse meaning, hey, once you get paid, okay, small trucking, any trucking company, once Summar pays you, that's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's a done deal. They've already committed. You'll never owe it back, even if they don't get paid. And then this fuel discount card, it's how important is it for an owner operator, small company, to have their own fuel cards instead of having to go with, other places, or maybe just using your American Express, which they're not going to give you discounts. I mean, it sounds like a real healthy company and a really good thing to be part of Summar.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you could add to any of this? If you've got somebody out there that's wanting to sign up, how would they go to sign up? Where do they do? Do they call you? Do they go on a website? How do they get signed up?
I mean, of course, they can go to our website. There's a contact me form to fill up, and we'll call them immediately. They can call us directly, and we have people on the phone ready to answer their calls and do the process. Everything is done online. It's really simple. There's no credit app per se. It's just an information sheet basically, and everything is super smooth, super fast. So really easy, really making it easy for somebody that is in their truck basically driving to be able to apply without having to go to I don't know, a printer or to an office, nothing like that. So everything is made thinking that our client is actually on the road.
I have a question. You said that you've dealt with South America with the different, from Mexico down, that you've done a lot of work with them. Do you also do Canada by chance? And because I know, of course, you do North America, but do you do as far up as Canada also, or have you ventured into that up further?
Well, actually, one of the things that we also do is that we help truckers in Canada and in Mexico that are crossing the border, and specifically those truckers. Sometimes it's tricky because sometimes they invoice either in Mexican peso or in Canadian dollar because they're hired by a company in Mexico or in Canada to take goods to the US.
Mm-hmm.
So we're able to deal with those currencies as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's really, really neat. In the other business unit that is the international factoring that I was speaking about earlier, it's exporters that are selling in US dollars. And although they could be in anywhere in Latin America exporting into the US, they all have dollar-denominated invoices. So that's I mean, all in dollars. But for the
That's
freight industry, yes, sometimes I mean we do have clients that are in Mexico, and sometimes they get paid in Mexican peso. So we are able to receive those transactions as well. We have the way to service them as well, and in Canada as well.
and
That's good.
I was going to say we have a lot of Canadian truckers that listen
That's
to
why
the
I asked.
show. Yeah,
That's why I
and
asked to see if it's something that they would be able to work with too.
yeah, I checked the countries and all. Mexico, we have a lot of Mexican companies that listen to us. United States, of course, being the biggest. And then I don't know if you work with Germany and Australia. They listen. They're all listening to the show, but definitely it sounds like North America for sure.
Yep.
Awesome.
Great.
So I'm going to give you the floor. Is there like anything else that you'd like to end with in any way, Alvaro? Is there any other message that you'd like to put out to the audience? You can have the floor.
No, well, thank you. No, I mean we're welcoming smaller truckers, and I mean small to medium-sized truckers. Um, our company's culture is really client facing. We're always thinking about what to do better in terms of servicing that entrepreneur that is looking to grow, looking for peace of mind, looking to be able to concentrate on what they need to do, which is a tough job, and letting us do all the back end paperwork for them, do their billing, their collections, their funding, and yeah, happy to serve this type of client and give them the best possible service.
All right. Ruth Ann, did you have anything else before we go ahead and end the interview?
Well, I have their website and their phone number here that I can give out real quick.
Put that out there. And plus, we have a landing page I think she sent us also. So we'll try to put that on with the social media. But go ahead and give that number.
The phone number is 1-786-406-7300. And the website is www.summar.com.
So summar.com. And read the phone number again. I just want to point out one thing he said is you'll always get somebody on the phone, because we know dealing with companies, you never get people on the phone these days, and it's so annoying. But go ahead, give us that number again, Ruth Ann.
786-406-7300.
I think just that alone makes me want to sign up. Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
No, I really appreciate your time, and thank you very much.